I'm reading at the moment, I've got about 50 pages left, is the new Fourth Wing book, Onyx Storm. It's the third in Rebecca Yarros's Fourth Wing Imperium series. It's quite good. It's not as good as the others, but I'm still enjoying it. Still want to know what happens at the end. It's still worth a read, I would say. Novel that will always stay with me. I was going to say A Little Life. I know Charlotte also said that with her one that she did the other week. I read it on her recommendation years ago, and it is honestly, like, it's still here. But to do something different, I'd say Richard Powers' The Overstory was an amazing book I read a couple of years ago. It's basically about trees, and there's lots of different fictional stories about different characters all to do with trees. It sounds very random, but honestly it's an amazing book. It's got a really powerful message, so yeah, would definitely recommend that. One of my favourite non-fiction books I read recently was The Wager by David Grant. He also wrote Killers of the Flower Moon, and actually Martin Scorsese is rumoured to be also making a film about The Wager with Leonardo DiCaprio, but it's basically an epic book about a big mutiny and a shipwreck and murders that take place. A book that makes me laugh. I mean, honestly, I'll read anything by Bill Bryson. I know that's quite an old school choice, but I think he's one of the funniest writers ever. And other than that, I reread High Fidelity by Nick Hornby really recently, and I'd just forgotten how funny it is. Like, it's one of my favourite films as well. I don't actually read that many biographies. That said, Kitchen and Confidential by Anthony Bourdain is brilliant. I think every chef in the world has read it at some stage. It's his account of, you know, growing up hot washing and things in kitchens and growing to become this sort of high profile, explosive, you know, chef that he became. All the Philip Pullman, his Dark Materials books. I actually reread them a couple of years ago when his Book of Dust books came out, which is his new trilogy he's working on at the moment. And I think they still really, really hold up reading them as an adult 25 years after they were written. Kind of answers another question we've got about best love story ever. The Lyra and Will love story. When I read it as an adult, I really cried at the end. It just really moved me. I can't remember how many books I read last year, but it was about 30. I did really like Sally Rooney's Intermezzo. I know it wasn't everyone's favourite, but I think the favourite book I read was actually quite an old one, which was The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. I thought it was really, really good. Favourite collection of short stories, it's probably by Haruki Murakami. It's called First Person Singular. It's a great example of lots of small short stories that really make you think afterwards.